Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie Yates Anya, Steph Anya for short, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about phrases that I hear all the time that are ruining your relationships. If you're curious about what those 10 phrases are, stay tuned. What's on your mind? I wanted to do this video because I talk about a lot of big therapy concepts a lot of times, cognitive distortions, defense mechanisms, those things, but a lot of times it can be hard to recognize the phrases that we actually say every day that actually fall into those categories where we're minimizing our partner's experience, or we are being extreme or absolute, where we're mind reading. All of these different things that are really counterintuitive to having productive conversation. So I'm going to list out 10 of the phrases that I hear most often that are ways of making a conversation be significantly less productive. Make sure you let me know down below if any of these apply to you. I definitely had to do some self-reflection and realize like a few of these apply to me as well. So you're not alone if you see yourself in any of these. I want to thank Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. I'm wearing their necklaces, I'm wearing their earrings. I love Ana Luisa. They're actually one of the first brands that I ever partnered with, and I enjoy working with them. I love their mission because they're very committed to sustainability. And I also love that their pieces are so high quality. These are pieces you've seen on my channel at this point for a year or more. They all still have an amazing quality to them. I love that Ana Luisa makes sure that their pieces are top quality so that you can use them for a long time. The link will be in my description box. This is a great gift to get for yourself or for family and friends for the holidays. Make sure you go to their website and check them out. All right, number 1, you never. And I'm gonna go ahead and jump into number 2, you always. Both of these phrases show extremism, being absolute. To tell your partner something like, you never buy me flowers, you never take me out, you never talk to me, you never XYZ, or you always ignore me, you always leave me hanging, you always go out without me. That does not leave a lot of room for nuance. It's very rare that something happens 100% of the time. So as soon as you say that, what is your partner gonna do? Their mind is going to start looking for exceptions to what you said. So at that point, you've already lost your grounding in the argument because they're thinking about how can they contradict what it is that you just said. You never take me anywhere. Okay, well, what about last week when I took you to such and such birthday party, right? They're looking for ways to argue with that because as soon as you say always or never, you're creating the perfect breeding ground for someone to disagree with you. So instead, you could say something along the lines of you rarely, or I feel that we could do this more often. That way, a person can't really argue with you about your perception of things, especially when you're leaving room for the possibility that they may have interpreted that they did do or didn't do some of these things. Number 3, and this one is a sneak attack, is when we throw in the word little. Your little business, your little hobby, your little passion. When we do those things, we are minimizing things that might be really, really important to our partners. So, you playing a little game, for example. If playing video games is something that is a way your partner can de-stress and relax, their home, for example, then why minimize something that probably is as relaxing to them as whatever thing you like to do to relax and calm down? So your little is a very condescending way of minimizing your partner's experiences. And sometimes it actually can create an environment where they're uncomfortable talking about those things with you because they think that you look down on them. Now we've just eliminated an important aspect of their life and it's separate from their relationship with you. We don't want to create that type of compartmentalization within a relationship. Next, here we go again. That is a phrase I hear happening all the time in arguments. And it is really a sign that you're trying to mind read or you're predicting what's going to happen. It's another form of minimizing your partner's experience, because what you're saying is, I'm already not listening to you because I know exactly what you're going to say. Here we go again indicates a certain exhaustion with a topic. And if your partner feels like you all have not satisfactorily addressed an issue, then here we go again just means there's still more for us to talk about or think about in regard to this topic. So maybe you say, can we try a different approach talking about this? Or, hey, I have an idea. Maybe I can write down my thoughts. You write down your thoughts. Basically saying, let's break up our typical routine, which is really what you're trying to communicate, is that you guys are doing the same thing and ending up in a dead end. Instead of just saying, here we go again, maybe get creative and think about other ways that you guys could conduct this conversation and maybe have a better response or result from that conversation. This is another great one. I actually workshopped this video with my husband, and he had this really good one that I wasn't even thinking about. Blank does this or doesn't do that. So comparing your partner to other people, especially with social media, especially with how much access people have these days to other relationships, you might be like, such and such always compliments their wife, such and such always posts their husband. You're basically saying that I am looking at this other person and they are superior to you in that circumstance. Really, there might be things that your partner thrives in that other person doesn't, that you would have no idea about, right? And how often is it that we idolize a certain relationship and just to find out that whatever we were thinking wasn't exactly on the level that we were thinking of it as? You know, I always say your relationship goal should be your own relationship. There is really no relationship that I admire more than my own, because my husband and I try to cultivate a relationship that's perfect for us. Now, if somebody else was in our relationship, they probably wouldn't be as happy in it as we are, because it's very specific to us. So becoming your own relationship goals requires you to pause on all of the comparisons and just really recognize the beauty of what you're creating with your partner. And if there are things to be worked on, talk about those things matter of factly, but you don't need to say someone else is doing it or not doing it in order to emphasize that point. And these things that you bring up to your partner that you might see other people doing, you know, think of it more as like inspiration, great ideas. You know, sometimes let's say you see somebody go on a certain vacation that looks really exciting to you. Instead of being like, you never took me to Europe, you never took me to Mexico, just say, you know, oh wow, like I saw this couple the other day here, I would love to go there, experience that with you. Finding ways to kind of positively bring things up without feeling like you're having to constantly compare can be a way that you and your partner can both be sourcing the world for ideas for ways to keep your relationship exciting. The next one, you should just. Now you might be like, what's wrong with that? Saying you should just blank. The reason that I see this being a problem, especially in times where a person might be being emotional or sharing about their feelings, is that often that phrase is followed by an attempt to create a solution. Sometimes your partner is just looking for the opportunity to vent. They just want to be able to share with you some things that they might be experiencing at work or within their family. And if you say, oh, you should just talk to them about it, or you should just keep your head down and keep working, you should just XYZ, you've missed the point, because what they really want is somebody to say, that really sucks. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. How can I support you with that? They might not be asking you to give them solutions. So you should just, a lot of times, is minimizing your partner's emotional experience. And it's really important for you to validate their feelings. This one is obvious, but very common. Leave me alone. When you say leave me alone, what you're really saying a lot of times is I need a break from this conversation, or I need the space to process. But what you need to make sure you're doing is adding the caveat of, we can finish this conversation, I'll find you, or I'm going to do this so I can work through my feelings. You know, that way it's clear to your partner that you're not telling them that you rather just not be with them, because what is that communicating, right? So leave me alone is really a way of pushing somebody away. And I see that most often when a person feels the need to protect and guard themselves. So whenever we're in that headspace, that usually means that we're defending ourselves. using defense mechanisms. So telling someone leave me alone is usually a way that you're trying to protect yourself, but you might actually be cutting yourself off from a good source of support if you were able to properly communicate your feelings by just saying that you needed a little space. Another one, saying things like, that's dumb, that's stupid, why would you say that? Why would you think of it like that? Your partner might be trying to figure out, troubleshoot a bunch of different ways to address a problem that maybe you both recognize is happening, or maybe they're trying to figure out, how to move forward in some new dilemma that you guys have encountered. Maybe they're trying to navigate a conversation with you. You're communicating to your partner, I do not respect your thought process. Even though we look at life differently, and that's probably part of what attracted me to you, in this moment, I feel the way you think. I don't respect it. I don't care to hear about it, right? So sometimes, it can feel like you just don't understand why your partner would see something this way. But use it as an educational opportunity, because the better you can know your partner, the more likely you're able to predict how they'll feel about situations going forward. So you could say, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Can you explain to me why you see it like that? I'm struggling to understand. That way you're putting it on yourself. You're the one struggling, right? Not them. So that's dumb, that's stupid. Why would you say it like that? Why would you think about it like that? Really could cause your partner to want to shut down and you miss an opportunity to learn more about the way that they think. The next phrase is, I'm done. And a lot of times this is something I hear so often, and it's phrased like an ultimatum. If you do this, I'm done. If you ever do this, I'm done. If you do that again, I'm done. Or even just, I'm done in the middle of a conversation. What you're really trying to communicate is that you might be at an emotional breaking point, either in the conversation or the relationship. And if you really are done, then, that's something to actually be, honest about. But really, most of the time when I hear this, the person is nowhere near done. And they're trying to use that phrase to really control what their partner does. They say, I'm done, because they want you to behave in a specific way, and they want to make you fearful of doing whatever action that they don't like, because they're saying they're going to leave you if you continue to do it. That is a really unproductive way of communicating to someone that there is something that you don't like. Again, it gives the impression that you want to run away. And if you have a partner that has rejection or abandonment issues, you really could exacerbate an issue that really would have been a lot smaller and easier to manage, but now you're tapping into their triggers. So avoid that phrase, I'm done, because most of the time you are not done, and you're just saying that out of spite. Maybe they hurt you and you want to hurt them back. Be really careful with that one. And lastly, I talked about this in the GQ video, but it needs its own space in this video, and that is the phrase, calm down. Now, I've had people say to me, but what if the person really needs to calm down? Like, they're over the top, they're screaming, they're upset. Now, maybe let's say this, guys, if you are like the third person in this situation and you're not the person they're upset with, and maybe you're trying to like help them calm down so the situation doesn't like explode, okay, that's one thing. But if you're the person that they are upset with or frustrated about, especially, telling them to calm down is only going to catalyze their anger or frustration or upset. So, you might say they really need to calm down, but 9 times out of 10, telling them to calm down is not going to give you that effect. So why add fuel to the fire and make them even more upset? Because now they feel that in addition to them already being in a state that they're probably like their conscious mind is already starting to get embarrassed about, knowing they're going over the top. Now you're criticizing them, and sometimes that calm down is being stated publicly, which is making it even worse with that additional layer. Avoid that phrase, calm down. You can try to mimic or model calmness for them, right? If they're getting really irate and you are showing yourself visibly breathing like, eyes locked in with them, you know, they're spewing off whatever and you're nodding your head, letting them know you're hearing what they're saying. At some point, there's a mirror reflection happening where they're recognizing only one of us is taking it there. And they might start naturally calming down. I would also encourage you to try not to hold it against them, because that sometimes can just refuel them back into a point of being upset. Try to understand more about, like, I was really shocked to see you become so worked up about that. Is, you know, what's going on? Like, I didn't know that was going to really bother you like that. Because if you're telling the person to calm down, it must mean that you don't understand why they would be so upset in the first place. So again, using it as an opportunity to learn more about your partner's triggers and the things that either you could try to avoid doing or help them get more accustomed to, so that it doesn't become as big of an issue in the future. Those are my 10 phrases that I think I see the most often that really cause conversations to go downhill, and when used over and over again can actually be the catalyst for a ruined relationship. What other phrases have you heard or even said yourself that you know can lead a conversation down the wrong path? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. Again, my name is Stephanie. It's Anya Buile, Steph Anya for short. I ask that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to share this video with any friends that you think may find it useful. Remember again to check out Ana Luisa in my description box. I appreciate you for watching all the way until the end of the video. That helps me so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you.